I'm Ivonne, and this is...
I'm Oliver Swain. How's it going? Nice to see you, buddy.
Nice to see you, too. So, few questions.
Great. Good. I'll answer as truthfully as I can.
Okay, great.
I'm going to take the fifth. I'll let you know.
So, first question. How old were you when you started playing music?
Seriously? Seriously, I was 13.
Okay.
I'd always loved singing and joined band and played ukulele and recorder and loved it, and always loved little music sessions whenever but I didn't get an instrument and start playing seriously until I was 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And what instrument did you start on?
Electric bass.
All right.
Yeah. Some of your viewers may know me as an upright player.
Yes.
The public, but I started out on electric. But I had moved over to upright by the time I was about 15. Definitely by the time I was 16, it was sort of my main thing.
Cool. And then when did you start guitar?
Oh well, actually.
Or banjo?
Yeah, guitar. I feel like guitars have always just been around, and I've always kind of played around on them.
Yeah.
And then I took up the banjo not until I was about 22.
Oh.
I'd been playing mandolin and then and working with the Ducks, and then after that ended up down in Appalachia in Louisiana and decided to ditch the mandolin for a real 5-string banjo.
Nice.
Still play mando a little bit though.
Yeah. And you're so good at all those instruments too. It's amazing. Who has been your biggest musical influence growing up?
Wow. Probably Roscoe Holcomb, Clarence Ashley, Ralph Stanley, like that sort of group of Appalachian singers who just seemed to really have a kind of mystical, spiritual, and strong blues quality too.
Okay.
Like lots of gospel, but also lots of blues in those singers. I really love those guys.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow, it's interesting to know since playing with you for so long now. It's like, oh, okay, I
know. I
want
to ask you some questions.
So who is your favorite, like you're a singer-songwriter, you play bass, guitar, banjo, like all the things. So who would be your favorite, I don't know, singer-songwriter, bass player, guitar, like...
Well,
I usually ask what the main instrument is, but because you have so many main instruments that... Well,
when it comes to... I actually think some of those, some of Danny Thompson's work, both Richard and Danny Thompson, I think, like they were in Pentangle together, and Renburn was in Pentangle. Anyway, they did a lot of playing together.
Yeah.
And they were both so steeped in the traditions, but also took a lot of chances and were willing to like combine different instrumentations and things like that. And Danny Thompson's work with like Nick Drake and John Martin, who are, I mean, Nick Drake's really well known, but John Martin will be really a real favorite in 70s English folk. And then Danny Thompson, with both of those writers, just played, I think, some of the most incredible upright playing with acoustic singer-songwriters. And so, if you want to know what I am trying to be, it's John Martin and Danny Thompson playing together on an album called Solid Air.
Okay.
And also 5 Leaves Left of Nick Drake was Danny Thompson and Richard Thompson was on that record too. Those are huge.
I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Wow, we definitely check that out.
Check it out, yeah. As I roll down midnight, excited for tonight, making the way with my own true love, straight to be mine. Turaya, but they did the rock. Turaya, but they did the rock tonight. Sorry.
That's okay.
Just start again.
Yeah. I edit all this, so if we say something or do something, it's no problem.
As I rode out on the moonlit night, excited for to fight, and left in the way with my own true love. Asked her to remind me to Raya, but the rock tonight. How can I get to Father's house? How can I get to your bed when my father locks the door at night? He's lying under his head with Raya, but the rock. Raya, but the rock tonight. Oh, get together, 30 foot and free. Let's sit to the chimney top, down in the grill to me. Raya, but the rock. Raya, but the rock tonight. Oh, I got a ladder 30 foot and free. Let's sit up to the chimney top, down in the grill to me. Raya, but the rock. Raya, but the rock tonight. Something else was saying. When you're there, I'm kissing your food. There's a man in the shoulders, baby. To Raya, but the little rock. To Raya, but the little rock tonight. Oh, so the old one, he got out of bed to see if it was true. She pushed down with the baby white arms under the cover, it's blue. With to Raya, but the little rock. To Raya, but the little rock tonight. Where are you going, Father dear? Where are you going so late? To disturb me at my evening prayer. No, but they were sweet with the Raya, but they did the rock. Raya, but they did the rock tonight. Oh, the devil will take you, your serial wife, and you'll let me die. For the God lies in the wicked wrong. They want you and I with the Raya, but they did the rock. Raya, but they did the rock tonight. One being still, something else was saying. Oh, yeah, life is silly old fool. There's a man in the dog who's baby. Raya, but the little rock. To Raya, but the little rock tonight. Oh, the old one, she got out of bed to see if it was true. Rose down to the chamber pot, into the cream she flew with to Raya, but the little rock. To Raya, but the little rock tonight. So I rocked her up and I knocked her down.
been the most interesting place that you've traveled to with your music?
You know, there's been so many amazing places, and also as I'm sure you know this too. Like sometimes you go places and you don't expect it to be that. Like you're not really sure what to expect, and it just ends up being culturally or in some other way just magnificent.
Yeah.
And you know, it's hard to pick, but I would say like certainly when I first started traveling around rural Louisiana in the early aughts, I found that the culture, in some ways, it just far exceeded my expectations, and I think that some of that might have to do with this sort of lingering. With that attitude towards a lot of Southern culture, is it not being as sophisticated or as having as much depth as a lot of other places, and I found that to be like in Appalachia and in Louisiana, that it was so steeped, and there was culinary traditions and cultural traditions like weaving traditions, dancing traditions, and all those things together were really mind-boggling, but I also felt like Darwin in northern Australia, like just jungles and swimming with crocodiles and stuff.
Right.
It was pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite places that I've been to with music are exactly for the same reasons, like the cultural, like the strong cultural thread that kind of holds the country together is like why it's probably those places are my favorite places, with the music, the art, the dancing, like the vibe.
Yeah, and it's interesting, you know, you go from community to community, province to province, country to country, and some places have really made that part of their identity, and then you just see how it just pays in so many different ways, and how a lot of times a lot of people will relate to like the fiddling or the blues singers or something like that, but when you see it really at work in a community, and you're seeing dancers and weavers and molasses makers, traditional tanners, and you really see how the culture really held together, as you were saying, the whole community, all these different
yeah, it's pretty amazing. So one last question for you. What's your favorite dessert?
Oh, ooh, you know, that is so tough. I love dessert. I mean, I know this feels sort of like lacking imagination, but I really do love creme brulee.
Okay.
I make it at home, and I love that stuff. But this summer also, this is another one that I just love. I was taking a really ripe fig, a little bit of goat cheese, balsamic, put it on the barbecue, get a nice sear on that thing, and heat it all up so it's all just jelly and melted cheese. Hit it with the balsamic reduction and a little bit of rosemary, which I hadn't heard of before this summer. And try it, folks. Put rosemary on those barbecued figs and goat cheese. You'll love it.
You have made that for me before, and
yeah?
it was unreal.
Oh, good.
Yes,
Great.
So
Great. Well, give him my address. Tell him to come over.
All right, beach day with Ollie next time.
That's right.
Nice. All right, thanks so much for doing
buddy.
this.
Yeah,
and
my pleasure.
yeah, it's always a fun
See
to
you
hang.
soon.
Yeah.
Nice. Here by the sea. The lights blinded me.
I know, totally.
It's great.
Heat it up after that.